too much
Yeah.
about him. Yeah.
Do you still think that Billy Joe had the style to beat Canelo?
We believe he had the style to beat Canelo. I'm not sure if Billy Joe did. So
Okay.
I don't want to talk no more about it. But
Yeah.
that's me as a coach.
Yeah.
Did he believe in himself? So you've got that out of me, Joe.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah, 100%.
I believed in him. Did he believe in himself? But listen,
Those are the words of Mark Tibbs as he says something phenomenal and very revealing in this interview. Shout out to Pep Talk UK for conducting the interview on that platform over there. And Mark said, hey, we as a team, meaning I believe that Billy Joe had the style to beat Canelo. But did Billy Joe? See, when people start talking like that, okay, and especially how Mark Tibbs explained it, okay, he explained it as though Billy Joe didn't have confidence in himself. You don't explain things like that. Like, hey, I believed he can do it, but did the fighter himself? Come on. So something happened, okay, either in the fight or even before the fight, in the fight, during the fight, or when the fight was stopped, that compelled Mark Tibbs to say what he said. I believe, okay, based on what happened, because you know there was an interview that Mark Tibbs said that was snatched due to MTK Global. They snatched everyone down from Seconds Out to IFL TV. They snatched that interview or those interviews down because they didn't like the way Mark Tibbs explained it, because it made Billy Joe look like he quit. But Billy Joe, based on how he responded to Mark Tibbs stopped that fight. But then it was because of Billy Joe, the way he was responding. So if Billy Joe responded in a certain way, he stopped it because of that way. And maybe that might have everything to do with that, because maybe if it was because of the stoppage, the style that Billy Joe had, maybe he didn't think that he had what it took based on how he responded. In other words, yeah, he had a damaged eye. Yeah, he did. His eye looked jacked up, but it didn't look to the point where he had another eye, didn't he? You know, I mean, he didn't, like, that was before everyone could go in, and, you know, it wasn't to the point like an Arturo Gatti or that Tyson Fury cut or that Vitaly Klitschko cut, when it looked so bad that you had doctors swarming around him. No, it wasn't that bad yet. It was just him and with Mark Tibbs and the decision that they made between them two. Okay, you know, Ben Davison was there and he said his 2 cents or whatnot, but then it wasn't really anybody else just crowding around him like, hey, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think Mark Tibbs said that is because of how that fight was stopped. And did he have the style to continue that fight? That might have been what it is. Okay, that's what I could see that he, you know, mentioned. Or something that happened before the fight, maybe all the concessions that Billy Joe wanted, that might have something to do with it. What was happening during the fight in between rounds, what they were discussing with Canelo and the counterpunching and the body work and these things. And, you know, so it might be a combination for all three of those things. Okay, but something was said to Mark Tibbs from Billy Joe, or something was done, or both, that made Mark Tibbs just say what he said. See, it's amazing how people, once they're together and then, you know, they split up, because Mark Tibbs is no longer working with Billy Joe Saunders now. And that's a whole different situation and question by itself. Like, why aren't these guys working together? You know what I mean? Was it just because of what he said? Maybe that was the deal breaker. Like, hey, I didn't like the way Billy Joe's responded, and because I didn't like that, I stopped it. Meaning I stopped it because of Billy Joe. That might have been something to do with it. But then here's the thing. Mark Tibbs has come on record, same platform, Pep Talk UK again, in another interview, and has said, no, I am not working with Billy Joe. Even if he came back, I wouldn't be working with him. So something happened on the grounds that allowed these guys to fall out. Okay, so it's amazing how people start half spilling the guts or spilling the beans, so to speak, when they don't work with those fighters no more. Like that, like discreetness kind of goes out the window. It's not just thrown out, it's more like leaked out. Because Mark Tibbs really didn't say why he felt that way. He just made that comment. And comments like that are cringeworthy because it's like, okay, you made a comment, Mark, and the comment that you made creates more questions. You know what I mean? It's like, why did you say what you said? And he was like, well, you're getting what I'm trying to say. Well, I get what you're saying. Okay, you're trying to say some kind of underline that Billy Joe didn't believe in himself. That's what he's saying. But he ain't saying why. He's not going into detail. But he's saying enough to discredit Billy Joe, but he's not saying enough to explain what he meant totally by what he said by Billy Joe. So kind of give you 50% of information. You know what I mean? But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of Mark Tibbs saying that Billy Joe might not have believed in his style to beat Canelo Alvarez, but he did. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.